Steve the Baxman Baxley, and to our announcer, Harry von Stuttgart. I apologize for butting in on your territory, my friend, but we have got action and we must get to it. I've got the Baxalog coming up and a whole lot more sports, but right now, if my mom can turn on, because not allowed to give you any audio of what we're doing here. So here we. If you're wondering why the earphones, you'll know why. We are 2 out in the top of the ninth inning. It is 5-0 Astros. And that is it. That is it. The Houston Astros have the golden ticket. That means I get to play this. That's right, folks. The Houston Astros, and I'm going to punish a cat. You don't chew this. This isn't for chewing. I know you're sorry, and I do. I accept your apology. I accept your apology. Anyway, where was it? Oh, yes. The Houston Astros are the American League champions for 2021, and they didn't do it with a trash can. There you go, sweetheart. That's right. The line score should be coming up right now. Let me get the line score up here, please. Okay, thank you. Turn it down a bit. I can't afford a copyright strike on YouTube. Okay, that's good enough. That's good enough. All right. Let's see. This catches us off guard a little bit, but still, we will Asperg here. Before we do any further damage. The Astros have done it. An incredible night of action. And as soon as we get the, thank you, boys. Let's give you the result as we normally do. And it goes like this. For the Houston Astros, 5 runs, 10 hits, no errors. For the Boston Red Sox, no runs, 2 hits, and no errors. The winning pitcher is Garcia. Played 5 2/3 innings, walked 7, struck out. No, excuse me. How am I supposed to read this? Oh, yeah. Garcia is your winning pitcher. Eovaldi is your losing pitcher. We'll have all the stats for you that we can, hopefully, before the end of our broadcast. But we have a lot to do. But first, it was in hiding, but we found it. It's time for the Baxalog. And tonight, a long time ago, hey, Mary McCheese, that's right, the Astros won it. I got to do a little Baxalog here. You know, there was a long time when your college football coach ruled the airwaves with the Coach's Show, the name of the Coach's Show, on many of your local stations. Nowadays, Coach's Shows are somewhat of a dying breed. They're either on a regional sports network or some cases not on at all. They're on radio as well. Now, a long time ago, the station here in Lansing, WLNS TV, when it was known as WJIM television, aired a lot of college football coaches shows, especially here in Michigan. You had Michigan Replay and whoever the coach of the Spartans was. In fact, the relationship between Michigan State W and TV6 was like this. Then, after Darrell Rogers, they sort of disappeared. But now, thanks to owners that love local programming, the college football head coach coaches show is back, and it's better than ever. Spartan Media and WLNS, might as well say Spartan Media and Nexstar, got together and the college football coaches show reborn just as the coaches show. And right now it's being shown on just the Nexstar owned and operated stations here in mid-Michigan, TV6, WLNS, WJMN up there in the Upper Peninsula in Escanaba, Channel 3, and WLAJ, the sister outlet here in Lansing. That's the ABC station. They had their debut tonight, which will be re-aired at 11:30 before the noon kickoff. And I got to tell you, it was fun. It was just like literally, I'm going to call it, it was a cross between MSU Panorama and a coach's show. And it had the usual things that you might find on a coach's show. Had highlights of their victory, the game of last week. It also had interview with the, I guess you could say, player of the game. And then they went on to interview the coach of Michigan State, which is Mel Tucker. And then they did some other interviews with some other team members. We learned how to dab. Ian Kress did that. The whole 6 sports department was truly into this. I mean, I've seen college football coaches shows, and I have never seen one that was so tight in both editing and highlights and interviews than this. The coaches show for Michigan State Spartan fans, it is well worth it. They knew what they were doing. They know what they were doing. They did it with that Spartan pride. And best of all, 3 hosts that knew a lot about what they're doing and the Spartan feel. It was a fantastic first episode. There's 15 more. And there may be a bonus one if indeed Michigan State can go undefeated and maybe break into that top 4 of the college football playoffs little devastationer, so that, well, maybe Ohio State won't make it. Anyway, I know I got to bop the headphones out of the way. It was a spectacular broadcast. Audrey Dahlgren, the sports director of TV6, punched it in, gave the viewers a lot of great insight. The interviews were crisp. The interview with Mel Tucker was excellent in all points, edited fantastically. Well, fantastically may be a bit too much, but it was damn good. And the other stuff from Nick Mantis and Ian Kress, superb. Very superb. I mean, this show literally had it all. And trust me, it is worth the price of, as they say, admission. It was certainly great to see Michigan State University and TV6 back together again. Then again, they never left each other. Now, if they can only bring back MSU Panorama. Okay, we're done with that. So, uh, please enjoy, please watch, and be at one. Anyway, where are we here? Okay. I know we got some sports to do, and we will do it. By gum, by golly. By golly, Jimmy Weavers. That's right. An incredible show. You gotta watch it. You can see it on WLNS.com. That's where you can see it. Okay. Anyway, let's get on with the rest of the showgram. And let's give you all the scores. Like, for example, the NBA. Their opening week continued. Let's rock this boopala. And of course, remember, all the scores we give you tonight are presented to you by the fine folk at Caesars Sportsbook. Remember, we are all Caesars. And let's get to the games that are still remaining, still technically going on. As soon as I can get the mbop here, get rid of this one commercial. Come on. Okay. I just have to go to the top of the head here. Okay, 4:22 left to play in third. It is the Phoenix Suns over the LA Lakers, 80-55. Wow. Incredulous. 7 left to play in the third. It is the Sacramento Kings over the Utah Jazz, 73-70. Let's get some final scores here. Thank you. Love it. Okay, let's go to the final scores. The Charlotte Hornets defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers 123-112. Bridges for Charlotte, 30 points, 7 rebounds. Sexton for Cleveland, 33 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Final in overtime, it was the Washington Wizards by 1 over the Indiana Pacers by a score of 135-184. Dinwiddie for Washington, 34 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists. Turner for Indianapolis, 40 points and 10 rebounds. New York Knicks over the Orlando Magic, 121-96. Randall for New York with 21 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. Wagner for Orlando, 16 points and 4 rebounds. The Brooklyn Nets over the Philadelphia 76ers, 114-109. Durant for Brooklyn, 29 points, 16 rebounds, 12 assists. Curry for Philadelphia, 23 points, 4 rebounds. Toronto Raptors over the Boston Celtics, 115-83. Barnes for Toronto, 25 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists. Tatum for Boston, 18 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Bulls over the Pelicans by a score of 128-112. Ingram for New Orleans, 26 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. Lavine for Chicago, 32 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. Houston Rockets over the Oklahoma City Thunder, 124-91. Gilgeous Alexander for Oklahoma City, 13 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Wood, you believe, for Houston, 29 points, 14 rebounds, and 1 assist. So there you go. And finally, Denver Nuggets over the San Antonio Spurs, 102-96. Johnson for San Antonio, 27 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Jokic for Denver, 32 points, 16 rebounds, and 7 assists. So there you go. Kumbaya. So there she blows right there. Now, yeah, let's get you some hockey. So we go from the NBA. So we go from the NBA to the NHL, from the hardwood to the hard ice. By the way, before we do that, let's get the commercial out of the way. Please, please, please. This is a plug. Join Nick Ricada, Minnesota's most humble lawyer, and his good friend Drex, along with a special guest for special guest Friday night edition of Lost Blaming the Interwebs. Tonight at midnight Eastern, 11 p.m. Central, only on the Ricada Law Network here on YouTube. It's something special when it's Drexel. With that said, charge. Let's go to the NBA, if you will, please. No, we got the NBA. We want the NHL. Okay, let's go to the NHL then. There we go. All right. Very light schedule for National Hockey League, and you know what that means? We got to do it the other way because we have a tradition we do here on Friday nights. So let's get to it, boys and girls. Let's get to it. Let's go to the scores here. And here we go. We'll get to the only game that's still going on, and that is the Edmonton Oilers. They lead the Vegas Golden Knights 3-2 after 2 periods. Final scores: San Jose Sharks over the Toronto Maple Leafs 5-3. Boston Bruins over the Buffalo Sabres 4-1. And the Dallas Stars over the LA Kings 3-2. Let's catch you up with some of the action taking place tomorrow, Saturday night, SATDURADY, Le Noche. No, we don't want standings, guys. I know we're still, rusty, but we got to get it right. All right, let's hey, now I can do this. All right. Okay. You want to do it now or you don't want? Okay, we don't have to if you don't want to. All right. We always check in on the games of Saturday night and Saturday afternoon. 1 o'clock game, New York Rangers at Ottawa. That'll be seen on TSN 5, RDS en France Canadien, and the MSG Network. Calgary meets Washington at 1 o'clock. That'll be on the NHL Network in the U.S., Sportsnet West, and NBC Sports Washington. 6 p.m. games will be Anaheim at Minnesota, Bally Sports North, Bally Sports Bally Sports Wisconsin Plus, Bally Sports Southern California, and Bally Sports San Diego. Now, here's what's coming up. 7 o'clock, Hockey Night in Canada. And let's rock this puppy up and bit and umba. And here's how they go. Detroit travels to Montreal to take on Le Canadiens, 7 o'clock. That game will be on City TV in Toronto, TVA Sports, French Canadien, and Bally Sports Detroit. Colorado takes on Tampa Bay at 7, be on Bally Sports Sun and Altitude. Buffalo at New Jersey, 7 o'clock on MSG and MSG Buffalo. Florida at Philadelphia, NBC Sports Philadelphia, and Bally Sports Florida. Toronto takes on Pittsburgh at 7 o'clock. That game to be On NHL Network, CBC, AT&T Sportsnet Pittsburgh. Carolina Columbus, also a 7 o'clocker. That'll be on Bally Sports Ohio and Bally Sports South. Los Angeles takes on St. Louis at 8 o'clock. That'll be on Bally Sports Midwest and Bally Sports West. New York Islanders take on Arizona, 9 p.m. Eastern. Bally Sports Arizona Plus and MSG Plus. And the late game, the second half of the Hockey Night in Canada doubleheader. We'll see Vancouver at Seattle. That game to be on ESPN Plus and ESPN Plus on Hulu, CBC, CTV, and TVA Sports Network DOS for our Canadian friends. So, there she blows. That is your Saturday. How about Sunday? That's right, we do Saturday and Sunday games. San Jose at Boston, 1 o'clock, Sportsnet 1. Nesson and NBC Sports California. Nashville, Minnesota, 8 p.m. No, that's not 8 p.m. That's 6 p.m. Eastern. Bally Sports North, Bally Sports West 1. Or, excuse me, Bally Sports Wisconsin. I forgot there's an I and not a 1. And Bally Sports South. Detroit at Chicago, 7 p.m. That'll be on the NHL Network, Sportsnet 1 in Canada, NBC Sports Chicago, and Bally Sports Detroit. Game, of course, not shown in the Detroit Red Wing market, so we probably won't get it. And the late game on Sunday will be the New York Islanders at Las Vegas, 10 p.m., NHL Network. For our friends in Canada, Sportsnet 1, and for the rest of the country, for the Rocky Mountain area, it'll be on AT&T Sportsnet Rocky Mountain, and for New York, it'll be on MSG Plus. And there you go. Right smack dab into Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. All right, there you go. NHL hockey, le fin. But not our hockey coverage, no sir. We do have some minor league hockey to get to, and we are going to do it. That is right. Let us do scores like banana. We have appeal. Ha ha ha. All right, let's give it to you, folks. And right now, we got, 3 games that are still going on. Maybe with luck, we'll be able maybe hear a little bit of it. I don't know. We've had a little trouble with our feeds. So give us a little moment. But the 17:35 left to play. They're still early in the third. It's Ontario Reign 2, Bakersfield Condors 1. At the end of 2, it's a tie between the Abbotsford Canucks and the Henderson Silver Knights. Also at the end of 2, it's Stockton Heat 3, San Diego Gulls 1. Final score, unofficially right now, is the San Jose Barracuda 5, Colorado Eagles 4. Cleveland Monsters over the Belleville Senators, and that is not just a team here in America. That's where we want to put our Senators, in Bellevue. Hey, but the team is known as the Belleville Senators. I wish they were in Bellevue. I wish they were the Bellevue Senators. Then the joke would have been good. 4-0 Monsters over the Senators. Charlotte Checkers over the Hershey Bears, 5-3. Got the Utica Comets over the Providence Bruins, 2-1. And if that's not enough, how about this? Rochester Americans over the Syracuse Crunch, 5-3. We got Springfield Thunderbirds over the Bridgeport Islanders, 3-1. We got Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins over the Hartford Wolfpack, 2-1. We got Iowa Wild and the Rockford Ice Hogs, 6-3. Manitoba Moose beat Grand Rapids Griffins, 1-0. And the Chicago Wolves over the Milwaukee Admirals, 3-2. That was in the AHL, the American Hockey League. Let's twaddle 4th and twaddle 5th and twaddle 8th. see if there are some scores from the Ontario Hockey League. We got hockey up the yams here, kids. And here we go. Ottawa 67. Ooh, that's hey, Mishuka. Let's get that down to the 22nd. Thank you guys. Wow. I got to get the scriptos here. Okay. It was Kingston over Peterborough by a score of 6-1. Ottawa over Mississauga over Ottawa 5-2. Sudbury over Hamilton 8-2. Guelph over Sarnia 2-1. We had the Sioux Greyhounds over the North Bay Battalion by a score of 8-5. And Windsor defeated Kitchener. Kitchener defeated Windsor by a score of 3-2. I gotta write this in pen. Anyway, there we go. Let's put the script down. And that ends our hockey little segment. And here we go. We're going to do like a dish. We're going to do like a dish. We're going to do like a dish. We're going to go like here. And we're going to say it's time for the headlines. And for the headlines, I'm going to do this one with a little Southern accent. Because we have the injury report for week number 7. Let's give it to you, kids. Cincinnati Bengals, Baltimore Ravens. For the Bengals, cornerback Jalen Davis, ankle. Defensive tackle Tyler Shelvin, illness. They are questionable. For the Ravens, running back Latavius Murray, ankle. Wide receiver Sammy Watkins, thigh. They're both out. Offensive tackle Alejandro Villanueva, knee. Cornerback Tavon Young, knee. Center Bradley Bozeman. Intentional linebacker Patrick Queen, thigh. They're all questionable. Yes, they're. Washington at Green Bay. Washington, oh boy, this is going to be fun. Because here we go. Wide receiver Curtis Samuel, groin. Right guard Brandon Sheriff, knee. Offensive tackle Samuel Cosme, ankle. Wide receiver Cam Sims, hamstring. They're all out. Cornerback William Jackson, knee. Defensive end Shaka Tony. And if you ever shaka your Tony, you might get arrested if somebody caught you doing it. Hey. He has an illness. He probably heard the joke. Cornerback Kevin King, shoulder. They're questionable. Next. Atlanta Falcons, Miami Dolphins. For the Falcons, offensive linebacker Dante Fowler Jr., knee. He's out. Cornerback Avery Williams, hamstring, doubtful. For the Dolphins, you might as well say the whole damn team after last week. Cornerback Xavier Howard, shoulder and groin. Cornerback Noah Igumone, knee. Cornerback Brian Jones, Achilles and groin. None at the same place, obviously. His Achilles is his groin. Anyway. Center Greg Mance, groin. Wide receiver Devontae Parker, shoulder, hamstring. Linebacker Jalen Phillips, ankle. Wide receiver Preston Williams, groin. They're all questionable. That's crazy. Jets at New England Patriots. Jets, tight end Tyler Croft, back. He's out. Linebacker C.J. Mosley, hamstring. He's doubtful. Running back Taven Coleman, he's questionable with a hamstring. Patriots, deep breath. Defensive back Jonathan Jones, shoulder. Cornerback Sean Wade, concussion, they're out. Defensive tackle Devon Gottschalk, finger. Which one we just don't know. Linebacker Dante Hightower, elbow, ankle. Defensive lineman Dietrich Wise Jr. with a bad knee. Defensive tackle Christian Barmore, his shoulder is acting up. Bum, bum, bum. Linebacker Jawan Bentley, it's his ribs. Running back Brandon Bolden, it's his thigh. Defensive back Kylie Duger, his knee is making him sick. Boom, boom. The kicker Nick Folk, his knee is out. The linebacker Brandon King has his thigh in a sling. Offensive lineman Shaq Mason, too. He's got a little tummy boo-boo. His abdomen. Cornerback Jalen Mills, his hamstring is done. Defensive back Adrian Phillips, his back is on the run. Linebacker Josh Uke, his shoulder is out. And linebacker Kyle Van Noy says annoy for his groin. They're all questionable. Carolina Panthers, New York Giants, Panthers, wide receiver Terrence Marshall Jr., concussion. Linebacker Shaq Thompson, foot. Fullback Giovanni Ricci, concussion. They're out. Left tackle Cameron Irvin, neck and illness. Wide receiver Alec Erickson, concussion. For les Giants, for the Giants. Running back Shaquan Barkley, ankle. Wide receiver Kenny Galladay, knee. Wide receiver Kadarius Toney, ankle. They're out. Defensive lineman Danny Shelton, pectoral, doubtful. Tight end Evan Ingram, calf. Wide receiver John Ross, hamstring. Wide receiver Sterling Shepard, hamstring. Wide receiver Darius Slayton, hamstring. They're all questionable. Kansas City, boom, boom, boom. Kansas City, here we is. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. I say Kansas City, boom, boom, boom. Kansas City, here we is. Your fullback Michael Burton's got a pec problem, and your tight end Jody Fortson has an Achilles. Linebacker Anthony Hitchens has a tricep. They are all sitting this week out. Wide receiver Tyreek Hill has a quad. Offensive lineman Joe Thuney has a hand that's odd. Defensive tackle Chris Jones, he also has a hand problem. No joking about what they do with it. Shavarius Ward has a quad problem. They're all questionable. For the Titans, left tackle Taylor Lewan, concussion. Wide receiver Chester Rogers, his groin. Linebacker Monty Rice, his groin. They're all three are out. Wide receiver Julio Jones, me and Julio out on the backyard, but he has a hamstring, so he can't play. Running back Jeremy McNichol, ankle. Linebacker Bud Dupree, knee. Defensive back Amani. Yeah, thank you. Amani Hooker, groin, questionable. Detroit Lions, Los Angeles Rams. For the Lions, fullback Jason Kamenda, hip. Offensive linebacker Trey Flowers, knee. Tight end TJ Hawkinson, knee. Running back DeAndre Swift, groin. They're questionable. The Rams, Sonny Mitchell, shoulder, questionable. It will be the game of the game of the game of the games. How about the game of the game of the year? Detroit takes on LA Rams at the Sophie Stadium in Los Angeles. That means Matthew Stafford gets to prove to the Lions why you should have kept him. Philadelphia Eagles, Las Vegas Raiders. For the Eagles, guard Jack Anderson, hamstring. Safety Anthony Harris, hands and groin are questionable. Raiders, tight end Nick Bowers, neck, he's out. Houston Texans at the Arizona Cardinals. Texans defensive lineman Jaleel Johnson is back. Quarterback Deshaun Watson in IR. He's out. Non-injury related. Thank you. Offensive lineman Justin Britt, knee. Wide receiver Chris Conley, neck. Wide receiver Nico Collins, foot. They're all questionable. For the Cardinals, tight end Daryl Daniels, hamstring. Defense tackle Rashard Lawrence, calf. They're both out. Linebackers Jordan Hicks, toe and ankle. Devon Kennard, shoulder. And Tanner Vallejo, hand. They're all questionable. Bears at Bucks. For the Bears, defensive back Tayshaun Gibson, hip, out. Wide receivers Jakeem Henderson, ankle. Defensive lineman Akeem Hicks, groin. Linebacker Khalil Mack, foot. Wide receiver Allen Robinson, ankle. Linebacker Caleb Johnson, knee. Defensive back Duke Shelley, ankle. And defensive lineman Bael Nichols, questionable. Buccaneers have wide receiver Antonio Brown with a bad ankle. Linebacker Levante David, ankle. Tight end Rob Gronkowski, ribs. Cornerback Richard Sherman, hamstring. They're all out. Tight end O.J. Howard, or is that DJ? I think it's O.J. Thank you. O.J. Howard, ankle. Defensive end Jason Pierre-Paul, shoulder and hand, questionable. Indianapolis Colts, San Francisco 49ers. Let's get ready for this. For the Colts, offensive tackle Braden Smith, foot and thumb. Defensive end Kimoko Trey, groin. Cornerback Rock Yassin, ankle. Safety Julian Blackman, Achilles. Running back Jordan Wilkins, they're out. Wide receiver T.Y. Hilton, quad, his questionable. 49ers, defensive tackle Javon Kinlaw, knee. Quarterback Trey Lance, knee. Defensive lineman Maurice Hurst, calf, they're out. Offensive tackle Trent Williams, ankle and elbow, doubtful. Linebacker Marcel Harris, thumb, questionable. New Orleans Saints at the Seattle Seahawks, they have not sent their injury report, so we can't give it to you. Okay, and in a sign that things aren't exactly good, the new look Los Angeles Lakers have gotten off to a very rough start this season. First, they lost to the Golden State Warriors on opening night after blowing a double-digit lead. Then Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard got into it on the bench during the second quarter of their matchup with the Phoenix Suns tonight. Or yesterday, being this is 12:15 in the morning, which is a Saturday and a Friday night game. Late in the first half, as they were coming out of a timeout, Davis went over to Howard to talk about something. As Howard stood up, Davis put his hands on Howard's arm, which the latter did not appreciate. The two then got into a bit of a tussle as their teammates tried to break things up. Howard at one point falls back into the Oh, that seemed to be a product of being off balance around the chairs more than anything. The two kept on exchanging words and were eventually separated for good by assistant coach Phil Handy. During the halftime show on ESPN, Stephen A. Smith and Michael Wilbon speculated that Howard must have been at fault in some way because Davis does not have a reputation for going at teammates like that. What exactly caused it? It's unclear at the time that we are on the air. Now, this incident is going to get all sorts of attention, and for good reason, since the Lakers and Davis and Howard are involved. But while it's obviously not good to have these sort of public spats in the second game of the season, it's probably not that big a deal. This is a highly competitive environment, and guys get into arguments all the time. If they hadn't been right near the bench, which is why Howard got off balance and fell, it would not have looked as bad. Unless there's something bigger going on here than we don't know about, everyone will probably forget this even happened in a few weeks. I've already forgotten about it. While the Astros are waiting the winner of the Dodgers series, Dodgers-Braves series, We have this report, and wow, this is not looking good for the Dodgers, the defending World Series champs, by the way. Game 6 of the NLCS is set for Saturday, 8:08 p.m. Eastern on TBS in Atlanta's Truist Park. The pitching matchup is scheduled to be Max Scherzer for the Dodgers against Ian Anderson for Braves. On the heels of Scherzer saying his arm was dead after Game 2 of this series, however, there's a report from the LA Times that Scherzer will not be the starting pitcher. Looks like without Scherzer starting, the Dodgers' pitching situation is murky. Walker Buehler would only be on 3 days' rest. Julio Urias would only be on 2. The other option really is a bullpen game. They did one in Game 5-2 and lost Joe Kelly to injury in the process. Now, David Price has been activated in Kelly's spot, and he seems like a reasonable candidate to start, but he hasn't thrown more than 30 pitches since August. Tony Gonsolin has been a starter for much of his time with the Dodgers, but he's been used strictly in relief this postseason. The best bet is it'll be one of those two starting the game. Unfortunately for the Dodgers, though, it doesn't sound like the starter will be Scherzer, but we will know in a day, actually. So here we go. Back to where we were. Okay, and wow. Even in high school, you got problems. The FBI has identified quite a few victims. Former Bria Holmes elite AAU girls basketball coach Danny Lawhorn, who faces state sexual assault and federal child enticement charges related to his sexual abuse of players in the program, according to a report from the Associated Press, Pat Eaton Robb. Lawhorn is currently charged with sexually abusing 3 girls who played for the Bria Holmes elite program between 2017 and this year. Lawhorn's charges allege that in June he sexually assaulted a player from overseas who'd been staying at his Hartford, Connecticut home. 2 other former Bria Holmes elite players subsequently came forward, both stating that they were sexually assaulted in 2017 and 2019, respectively. In all 3 cases, Lawhorn allegedly asked the girls for a massage before he abused them. All 3 girls were under the age of 18 at the time. In a news conference on Friday, a special agent for the FBI's New Haven office stated that the agency was asking for other victims to come forward and contact them through a special website because of the nature of the program, which trains students for potential scholarships to play college basketball. The belief is that some victims may be out of state or overseas. Now, according to a report from the Hartford Courant's Edmund Mahoney, a prosecution memo states that Lawhorn had told detectives at the time of his arrest that he had exercised control over one of his victims and also described the sexual acts and contact he engaged in, while also realizing his actions were wrong. No shit, a-hole. One victim's account of Lawhorn's crime states that she had been abused regularly over the course of 10 months, with Lawhorn repeatedly telling her that she had to comply in order to continue to play basketball and earn a scholarship to play in college. Lawhorn was removed from the program following his arrest in June and has been under investigation since September of 2020. In addition to his sex crimes, Lawhorn also faces federal drug charges stemming from alleged possession of crack cocaine and fentanyl. Wow. Alrighty. Well, there we go. Let's kick it over now to our international bugaboos. Then we'll hit the media. Then we'll finish up, and that'll do it. We're gonna go a full hour. This is gonna be fun. Let's do it. Let's give you some of the scores in the Premier League. Arsenal beat Aston Villa by a score of 3-1. In Women's World Cup qualifiers, Scotland over Hungary 2-1. Cyprus over the Netherlands over Cyprus 8-0. Iceland over Czech Republic 4-0. Austria over Luxembourg 5-0. Italy over Croatia 3-0. Switzerland over Romania 2-0. Greece over Kyrgyzstan 1-0. Slovenia over Wales tied at 1. France spanked Estonia 11-0. In women's international friendlies, USA, South Korea tied at 0. The Sirmu Premier, Flint Town United, and the New Saints tied at 1. Pennybont over Aberystwyth Town 3-0. And we are being selective, yes. Russian Premier League, Dynamo Moscow 4. Kimiki 1. And in the Turkish Super League, Yeni Malatyaspor over Altay 2-1. Yay. Okay, let us head on over to our media bit. And we have, this is not only in the media, it's also in the sports headlines, which we will now go to. The latest wave of NCAA conference realignment may have started in the Power 5 with Texas and Oklahoma heading to the SEC, but it's had a group of 5 reverberations as well. The Big 12, eager to keep its Power 5 status, fought hard to prevent any further exits, even sending a cease and desist to ESPN on that front. For what good that may or may not have done, wow. And added 4 schools, American Conference members Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF, which was funny considering a 2AC source claiming they were going to try and get remaining Big 12 schools. The reverse happened, plus independent BYU. The 2AC then responded by rating Conference USA for 6 schools, and as per the Action Network's Brett Murphy, the Sun Belt has now followed suit. McMurphy writes that the Sun Belt officially added Southern Mississippi Friday, and that 2 other schools are expected to come along as well. The Athletics' Chris Vanini, who wrote about the possibility of the Sun Belt Conference grabbing Conference USA members early in the week, added some confirmation on Neo Twitter. And this is what he put down. Southern Miss has just finalized an agreement to join the Sun Belt. Could be announced on Monday. Other schools are TBD. Now, a notable element to keep in mind as to why these moves are happening is the broadcasting setup. The Sun Belt recently signed a contract extension with ESPN through the 2027-2028 season back in 2018. And while it's far from the biggest value or the most prominent of ESPN's college deals, most of the games will air on streaming-only ESPN+. There's at least some stability there. Conference USA has an ESPN deal, too, also signed in 2018, but it's for far less games. They've had others airing in a wide variety of places, including CBS SN, NFL Network, Stadium, and Facebook. For this year, their home games are split between CBS SN, Stadium, and ESPN, so it's not difficult to see the Sun Belt media deal as looking much more favorable. No kidding. Even before it comes to the money, and while ESPN has been trying very hard lately to claim that they're not involved in conference realignment, the moves here seem to be at least partly about the greater stability and better TV deal the Sun Belt currently has, whether ESPN played any role in encouraging the Sun Belt to expand further or not. Now, as for the impact of these moves, Southern Miss leaving itself is bad enough for Conference USA, especially when you add that to the 6 schools that already left for the 2AC. If Old Dominion and Marshall goes as well, that would leave the conference with just 5 football-playing schools: Middle Tennessee State, Florida International, Western Kentucky, Louisiana Tech, and the University of Texas El Paso. below the 8 needed for a D1 conference. Interestingly enough, the first 3 of those schools came to Conference USA from the Sun Belt in 2013 and 2014. And that could lead it to collapsing entirely, but the conference statement and some school statements so far are about trying to keep the conference together. And that may be rough, though, especially as these latest defections have once possible targets thinking twice. That may include the Liberty Flames, who McMurphy writes have some reservations about Conference USA and likely will remain an independent. So who could Conference USA actually add? Well, there's some targets from Pete Thamel, and the targets: Sam Houston State, New Mexico State, and Tarleton State. There is an effort to fortify the western flank of College USA that got. So we'll see if either of those schools wind up joining Conference USA. CUSA schools decides to stay there. There's still a lot that could happen on both of those fronts, but these Sunbelt moves are definitely notable and definitely increase the pressure on Conference USA. In further media bites, ex-Kings announcer Grant Napier, fired by KHTK in May after a tweet, is now suing that station for wrongful termination. Ooh. Let's see what else. Whom else we got? The Allison Williams arc has reached its conclusion as she joins the conservative media outlet to work for Ben Shapiro's The Daily Wire. Yahudi. Okay, and that's your media bites for tonight. Now we've done one part. Let's get you the other part, which just happens to be our little final part. And here we go, kiddies. Let's do this. Let's get it done. Here we go. In the Bundesliga, Mainz over Augsburg, 4-1. In Italy, Torino over Genoa, 3-2. Sampdoria over Spezia, 2-1. And in the La Liga in Espanyol, Osasuna and Granada tied at 1. In the Euro League in basketball, it was Alba Berlin over Slovenia Zvezda Mountains, 78-63. CSK Moscow over Olympiacos, 88-82. Baskonia over Monaco, 78-66. Barcelona over Zenit Petersburg, 84-58. And an update in the fourth quarter, 11 minutes into it. Lakers launching a brief comeback. They are down 10 by the Suns, 110-100. Phoenix Suns lead. In the NHL, in the third period, 16 minutes remaining. Edmonton Oilers lead the Vegas Golden Knights 4-3. Czech Republic hockey. Trinik over Kesk Budovice, 1-0. Litvinov over Ziln, 2-1. Plzeň over Pardubice, 3-2. Viktovice over Kladno, 2-1. Mountfield over Liberec, 4-1. Finland, you're going to love this. TPS Turku over Assat, 3-2. Saipa over Hämeenlinna, 3-0. Kuku over Jukrut, 2-0. Pelicans over Karpat, 4-2. In Japanese baseball, the Yokohama Bay Stars over the Chinichi Dragons, 4-2. Romero with the win for the Bay Stars. He's 5-3. Katsuno with the loss. He is 3-6. And in South Korean baseball, Lottie Giants over the Hanwha Eagles, 1-0. Kim Won-young for the Giants gets win. He's 5-1. Ju Hong Sung gets a loss. He's 1-2. Samsung Lions over to KT with Swan. 4-2. Wan Tae In. 14-8 with the win for the Lions. For the Swan, Koo Young Po. 12-6 with the loss. SSG Landers doubled the Doosan Bears 12-6. Gavagilo with the win. He's 6-5. Park Yong Ji gets lost. He's 0-4. And the Kia Tigers got some soul, and they beat the NC Dinos 5-3. Im Ji Young gets win. He's 8-10. Lim Jong Ho gets lost. He's 0-4. And guess what, folks? We've had a blast. And one day we knew it wouldn't last, and this was the day. Folks, that's gonna put a wrap on the broadcast and on Sports Final. Thank you all for watching. We are back on the air at 11:30. Yeah, 11:35 tomorrow night with, of course, not the Prudential College scoreboard for our football friends. We've got the Rabbi with his Sunday picks of the Week 7 NFL games, and a whole lot more, including hockey, basketball, and anything else we can fit in a full 45 minutes to an hour. Until then, I'm Steve the Baxman Baxley saying thank you, good night, God bless. And we hope you enjoyed tonight's show. This has been a presentation of Mystifying Creativity Productions in association with the kind and wonderful folks at L2C Media, at the L2C Media Network and L2C Sports. See you all tomorrow, 11:35, right here on Sports Final, where your sporty balls grow bigger.